I'm going to say it again for emphasis. Keepa is the most important tool. You need to have the paid version. Hi everybody, it's Nina, Beachfront Bargains. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am an online reseller on Amazon, eBay, and Poshmark. If you are new and you like my content, please go ahead and subscribe down below. So today's video is very long overdue and I am sorry about that, but it's going to be a beginner's Amazon video. So if you've never heard of selling on Amazon, or if you've heard of it and you don't fully understand it, this is just going to be an overview of what is selling on Amazon, how do you source, how do you ship things, just a very high-level overview of how to get started selling on Amazon. And before I get started, we do run Amazon online arbitrage lead groups. So what that is a list provided Monday through Friday with 20 items every day that you could source online for Amazon. Each group is capped at 50 people. Every item has at least 30% ROI and also has a good sales volume. It's a wide variety of categories. We have, toys. We also have sports and outdoors. We have groceries, just a lot of different items on each list. Also, the group comes with a private Discord server where you can ask any questions you have, just anything you could think of. We also go over tools in that. We go over ungating information as well, like the exact steps that we used to get ungated. So I will put the link for that down below if you are interested. Like I said, it's a monthly group, so it's available every month and it goes for the full month. So if you have any questions about that or you're interested, just go look at our link down below on our website. So this video will be a high-level overview of Amazon. I could talk about Amazon for hours to get the full picture, but this is just going to be like a 20-minute overview of what is Amazon and how you can get started. We are working on a course for Amazon that'll be a very in-depth course for beginners, and that will be available in January 2020, so stay tuned for that as well. And again, that'll be through our website, so you can go there and sign up for our email letter if you are interested. So now, to go ahead and get started, first I'm going to go over just what is Amazon and how can you sell on it. So Amazon is just a huge e-commerce store. I feel like everyone has Amazon Prime nowadays. I do. I know I buy almost anything I can via Amazon. So, and the growth of Amazon is not stopping. Quarter after quarter, Amazon continues to grow. So what a lot of people don't know is a lot of these items they're buying are actually coming from third-party sellers. They're not actually coming from Amazon themselves. If you go look at any item, and I'll just put a screenshot here of what it looks like. If you go look at an item, it'll say sold by blank, and that's someone's store name, and fulfilled by Amazon. That means that item was actually sourced by someone, sent into Amazon, and then Amazon ships that item off to the customer. So that's what Amazon FBA is, fulfilled by Amazon. And that is much more common than people think. People just assume anything they're buying from Amazon is from Amazon. And while it is coming from an Amazon warehouse, it's actually from a person or a business that's not Amazon. So that's what Amazon FBA is. Basically what it is a person or a business entity sends items to Amazon. You ship the items to Amazon, and then Amazon, once the customer orders the items, ships the items to the customer. And they also do any of the customer service, returns, all of that stuff. That is fulfillment by Amazon. And that's how you and I can easily sell things on Amazon, is by shipping them to Amazon. And then they take care of the rest. The other thing you can do is fulfillment by merchant, which is FBM. Again, you're still selling on Amazon's website, but the difference is that you are shipping the items to the customer, not Amazon, and you're responsible for the customer service. We primarily do FBA because we don't want to be storing more inventory in our house. Like, this is all inventory from Poshmark and eBay. We have more than enough inventory in our house right now. So we really prefer to do FBA versus FBM. But again, it's the same thing. You're using Amazon's platform with both of them. So that's what Amazon FBA is. In this video, I'm going to focus primarily on Amazon FBA opposed to FBM. In the future, I'll do a video comparing the two and the differences and when I think one is better than the other. But for now, we're just going to focus on FBA because I think it can get confusing if you do both. So how do you get started on Amazon? So this is also a little different than selling on other platforms. To create a seller's account, you have to go through more hoops than you would on other platforms. So you sign up online through Amazon, and you have to provide things that prove where your address and your identity. So it can be a little more lengthy of a process. For some people, it takes a couple of days. Setting up our account was super easy. We just provided the required documents, and then we were approved and good to go to start selling. But I've heard that some people have issues with it, and it can take them a couple of weeks because Amazon doesn't like the documents you send them, and you have to resend or send different items. So keep in mind that creating a seller's account could take 2 days, and it could take 2 weeks, just depending. But once you have an Amazon seller's account, you are good to go. You should download the Amazon sellers app on your phone. This is where you can look up items. It's also where you can see your sales every day. Whenever you see someone post that little graph of their sales or their, how many sales they've had in a day, that's from the Amazon sellers app. I think as a beginner, you can just start with the sellers app. There's like so many different apps and so many different tools you can use on Amazon, but the sellers app is the main one that you need to get started. So that's how you get started. That's how you create an account. Like I said, it's a little different, but it's pretty straightforward process, and Amazon has all kinds of information if you do need help with that. Okay, so let's say now you have a seller's account, you're good to go, you're ready to get started, you have the app downloaded on your phone. How do you find these items, right? That's the big mystery. I'm only gonna focus on doing arbitrage. I'm not gonna focus on this video on private label or wholesale. That's a whole nother conversation. And I think when most people get started, doing arbitrage is the best way to start because you don't know enough to be able to do wholesale or private label without making very costly mistakes at that time, because with arbitrage, you don't have to invest that much to get started. So there's 2 types of arbitrage you can do. You can do retail arbitrage, which is going to physical brick and mortar stores and sourcing items there, and you can do online arbitrage. In our business, we focus like 99% on online arbitrage. We only do retail arbitrage when we have a very solid lead and we know the item is in the store. But when we started, we did start with retail arbitrage because I think it's the easiest when you're brand new to go to the store. So what stores do you go to and where do you look and how do you find these items? So when we first started, we hit up stores like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, any store like that, Walmart, Target. I could go on and on. Basically, any store you can find some type of item there to sell. It's not going to be easy the first time you go. You're not going to walk out with, $2,000 in profit the first time you go. But the first time we went to just Walmart and we just scanned around the clearance section. We did find some items to sell. So how do you find these items when you're in the store? You can take your phone and you can scan them with the Amazon sellers app. And it'll come up on your phone. You can see the rank, you can see the current price, you can even put in your cost and see what your profit would be after all of the fees. I think it's important when you're starting to start slowly, and when you're in the stores, really like looking in depth at what you're scanning. Is this a good item? Is it not a good item? Retail arbitrage is a really solid way to get started. As you become more experienced, you'll know where to look more. You'll know what not to look at. You'll have sections you prefer in your stores, sections you don't prefer in your stores. But I think it's just a good way to get started. I think you can walk into pretty much any TJ Maxx, and if you scan that whole store, I'm not playing, if you scan that whole store, you will find something. You will find something. But it just takes time and patience to get started. And I know a lot of people tend to quit at this point because it's a lot of work to be put into it when you're just starting. But I think starting slowly is one of the best ways, because if not, you can easily make costly mistakes, right? If you find an item you think is great, but you're not actually looking at the rank and the profit and all of that, and you buy 20 of those items and it costs you, $400, that could potentially be a $400 mistake. So I think it's really important to get started slowly and take your time and really get out there and source. So that's retail arbitrage, and that is how we started. The next thing, and this is what, like I said, what we do most of, is online arbitrage. So it's the exact same thing, except you're just doing it all online. You don't go to the stores. You're just looking for deals online that you can buy and then send to your house and then send off to Amazon. So I prefer this because, one, I don't have to leave my house. 2, it's much easier to buy in bulk. 3, it's much more efficient because when you're running around a store, you have to, physically walk around and scan all these things. With online arbitrage, there's a lot of different advanced ways you can do this. There's tools you can use. You can hire virtual assistants to find stuff for you. You can join leads groups like the one we have. There's a lot of different ways to really scale online arbitrage, whereas retail arbitrage, it's more difficult to scale because you have to constantly be in the store, right? So that's online arbitrage. Like I said, I think it's great to start with retail arbitrage and then move into online. If you are brand new also, I think you can start with online arbitrage, but I think you might need some assistance to figure it out in the beginning. Like I said, our leads group, other leads groups are great to join. We've been a part of several leads groups, and that really helped us scale our business and grow with online arbitrage. So retail arbitrage and online arbitrage is how you're going to find your items. So the next thing is, let's say you get all these items, how do you get them to Amazon, right? I think that's another really confusing aspect when you're new to Amazon is, how do I get these items to Amazon, and how do I pack them? Where do they go? How do I know where they go? So Amazon makes this super easy. Basically, you just scan the items in online on Seller Central, and then Amazon tells you how to pack and prep the items and where to ship the items. So it's going to go off to an Amazon fulfillment center, and which fulfillment center it goes to depends on a lot of things. It's all based on Amazon's logistics, where you're located, how many of each item you're sending in. It's just a mystery, but Amazon literally tells you, put 5 of these in this box and send them to Charlotte. Put 4 of these in this box and send them to Missouri. They tell you exactly where the items go. And they also tell you how to prep the items. So they'll say this needs to be polybagged. That item needs to be bubble wrapped. They tell you exactly what to do. And once you do it after a while, like I know now what needs to be polybagged, what needs to be bubble wrapped. I know exactly how to pack things because you just get so used to it. Also, I think it's important to pack things carefully. Make sure that even if it doesn't say it needs to be bubble wrapped, if that's a breakable item, you need to bubble wrap it. If it's something that could get dirty, you should polybag it, right? So just try to keep your items as safe as possible. So then, like I said, Amazon will tell you where to put them, where each item is going, and then you pack that up, and then you buy your shipping through Amazon via UPS is the cheapest way to go. It is incredibly discounted shipping compared to what you would pay outside of Amazon, or if you're used to using eBay or Pirate Ship or anything. It is so discounted. So don't overthink the shipping. I do think it's important to keep in mind that when we send out shipments, we try to send out a decent amount at a time. So we're cutting that shipping cost up between lots of items if the shipment is split up between multiple fulfillment centers. So if you're sending in just a couple of items, the shipping could add up. But if you're sending, 20 items in, your shipping cost is going to be very low per item. So you print the shipping labels through Amazon, and then from there, you can either drop them off at UPS or schedule pickups for UPS. UPS has something called Smart Pickups, and what it is you pay $13 a week, and they come to your house every day. You just request it before your scheduled pickup time. So like our scheduled pickup time is 4 p.m. So we have to request our pickup before 2 p.m. every day. And they just come and pick up your boxes. Or like I said, when you're first starting, you might not need that at all. You can drop them off at UPS and they go on their way to Amazon. So then once they get to Amazon, Amazon checks them in. This can be a little bit of a lengthy process as well. Right now I'm filming this as Q4. It's taking longer and longer for stuff to be checked in. So just keep that in mind. It can take between a week to several weeks. And again, it's also going to depend on fulfillment centers. Some are faster than others. Where we send the majority of our shipments, Charlotte, our shipments process very fast, luckily, but I know some shipments or some fulfillment centers, people have said take a lot longer. So just keep that in mind, that the time you send it off to the time it's available for sale can be a couple weeks. Also, just because an item is being sent to that center does not mean it's going to stay at that fulfillment center. There's something called FC transfer, and you'll see items checked in, and then when you go to the seller's app, you'll see that it says the quantity and then it says FC transfer. So sometimes once you get it to a fulfillment center, they're going to go ahead and ship it to another fulfillment center, and that can take some time as well. So just keep in mind that when you send items in, there is still a period of time between when you send it and when that item is actually going to be available. So once your items are to Amazon and they're available for sale, how do you get them sold? So the first thing is you need to make sure that the items that you're sending in are actually in demand. How do you know items are in demand? Sales rank and Keepa. Um, Keepa is the most important tool that you can have as an Amazon seller. I'm going to say it again for emphasis. Keepa is the most important tool. You need to have the paid version. And that is Keepa, Keepa.com. It costs like $17 a month, but without Keepa, I genuinely have no idea how to make educated buying decisions. You need Keepa. So what Keepa is, and I'll insert a graph of what Keepa looks like. It's a graph, and it also has statistical data as well, and it tells you sales rank, prices, buy box prices. You can see the graph over time. You can see seasonal demand. You can see when this was out of stock, if Amazon was on it. Keepa is the gatekeeper to all of the information you could ever need to make educated buying decisions. So it's so important to look at Keepa and use it to make buying decisions. So let's say you did source a really great item because you looked at Keepa. How do you get that item to sell? Is pricing. Pricing is super, super important. And the buy box. When I first started, someone was like, the buy box, and I was like, what's the buy box? What exactly is the buy box? The buy box literally is the box, I'll put it here, that says buy now. So how do you get your item to be the item when they click buy now? That's what someone's saying is you need to get that buy box. So there's a lot of factors that go into the buy box. Again, I can make a whole video on the buy box, but basically you need to have the lowest price is the easy way to put it. And the lowest price within a range. You don't have to have the exact lowest price. If you have your item priced at $25 and someone else has their item priced at $24.98, you're good. You don't have to have the lowest price. The buy box does rotate between sellers that are within 2% of the buy box. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to have the bottom barrel price. And there are other things that go into the buy box as well, like your metrics, your reviews, stuff like that. So, but you do need to be within 2% of that. So pricing becomes super important at this point. There are tools where you can automate your pricing called repricers, where you can set up rules and all of that. But we didn't use that when we first started Amazon. When you don't have a lot of inventory, you can definitely manually reprice things and make sales. But just keep that in mind that pricing is super important. And when you're repricing things, it's really good to know your ROI and keep that in mind when you're repricing things. You don't just want to keep dropping. You need to know how much money am I actually making on this item if I sell it at the price I listed at. But pricing is how you're going to get your items actually sold to a customer. So once the item sells to a customer, that's when Amazon's going to ship the item off to the customer, and they're going to manage any customer service that goes along with that as well. So you don't have to do anything from that point forward. You are good to go. And that's the other thing that makes it awesome to sell on Amazon is once that item gets to Amazon, you are good to go. Next, I want to talk about tools. I'm going to do a whole separate video on this coming up soon, but I think tools are so important to Amazon. If using the right tools can make you so much more successful. So the number one tool I recommend is Keepa. Like I said, if you are serious about selling on Amazon, you should have a paid Keepa subscription. 1,000%. You need this. The next thing that I think is really awesome to have is Inventory Lab. And this also comes with Scoutify too. So what Inventory Lab is, it's a tool, a software you can use to manage your inventory and prep your shipments. It's a much better flow than doing it through Amazon. It makes things super, super easy to build shipments and prep your stuff, especially as your shipments get larger. But like I said, this is not required, but I think it's an awesome tool once you get further into your Amazon business. And it also comes with Scoutify too, which is a scanning app that you can scan when you're doing retail arbitrage, scan items. And it just makes things a lot easier to view. It gives you the rank in a percentage. It has a nice calculator built into it. It's also a great tool. So Inventory Lab, which comes with Scoutify too. Okay, the next tool that I recommend, and this is if you're deep into online arbitrage, is Tactical Arbitrage. It's a great tool. And it has all kinds of, it just has so many. I could do a whole video on Tactical Arbitrage, but we've been using it forever and highly, highly, highly recommend it. once you're deep into online arbitrage. Okay, next is a tool called Check Permissions. This is a fabulous tool that I wish I would have found much earlier when I started on Amazon. What it does is it shows you on the Amazon product page, I'll put a little picture of what it looks like, if you can sell the item and what condition you can sell the item in. Then you can even click on it, open it up in Seller Central, and you can even try to get ungated for that item. But it's just really in your face, and it makes it easy to not make mistakes on buying items that you can't actually sell. So I highly recommend it. The cost, I don't remember what it was, but it was not very expensive. So I highly recommend Check Permission, especially when you're starting, just to make sure you're not accidentally buying things that you can't actually sell. So that is the tools that I recommend. There are more tools. We use more tools than that, but I think those are good beginners tools. I will do a whole video on tools coming up soon, because I think, like I said, your success is based on what tools you're using. So that is it for this video. I'm going to conclude it here. Like I said, I could go on and on and on about Amazon, but I think this is a good high-level overview for beginners. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. And if you are interested in getting started, I highly recommend our leads group. We have a lot of beginners in there, and it's a really good way to find products and get started with guidance, because you do have Ernesto and I in the Discord with you, providing support and answering any questions you may have. So I'll put that down below, our website, where you can sign up if you are interested. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys. So I appreciate you watching. If it was helpful, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment if you have any questions or concerns. So thank you. Bye.